Well, welcome everybody to our online program on addiction and recovery from the Sunshine Coast Health Center up here in Powell River, BC. And we've been talking about the idea of living life on life's terms as part of recovery, or as we would say at our facility, as part of living a meaningful life. But the issue of living life on life's terms is to figure out, well, what are life's terms, right? So another of these terms that we talk about is very often in life, there are no clear answers. And this is interesting. This idea that very often there are no clear answers. Those of you who are new parents, for example, right? So you got a new infant and how do you care for it now? What do I do? What do I do, right? There's no real rule book about life, and people have different styles. Those of you who are parents of teenagers, probably the same thing, right? No real rule book, and all the things that maybe you think should work, aren't working that well. And so most of us just do the best we can. Because life is far too complicated to offer these really concrete rules to it and to provide really clear answers. Sometimes at our facility, the fellows are very anxious about, for example, medical results. So they go donate the blood, all these tests are done, but the results don't come back immediately. They got to wait a few days. And during this time, now there are no answers. They don't know exactly what the result's going to be. And some of them are actually quite worried about this. And some of them can actually get overwhelmed by this. And the reason they're overwhelmed, they have so much anxiety, is simply because they don't know. There are no answers for them immediately. They actually have to wait. And this is really tough, right? This waiting. A lot of people with addiction problems, they do not like to live in these gray areas of life. They would like concrete answers. I don't know how many clients I've heard saying, geez, my girlfriend, I don't know if she's going to dump me or not. Geez, I wish she'd give me a decision because at least then I could handle it. Right? That's a fairly common statement, right? Just this real discomfort living in the gray area of life. But one of the keys to recovery is to learn to live in that. As Dr. Paul Wong says, the psychologist whose work forms a lot of our program, he says one of the keys to recovery and one of the keys to living a contented, happy life is to learn to live comfortably in ambiguity, to learn to live comfortably in the gray areas of life, where there are no ready-made answers, where there is no concrete solution to a problem. And to do that, though, you have to accept that maybe this is one of life's terms, that very often there will be no clear answers, that very often you give it your best shot and hope for the best, that there's no guarantee. And this goes for the families of clients too. A lot of the families seem to want some kind of guarantee that people in recovery won't ever relapse. But reality says no. There are no guarantees. No one can guarantee that. No one can say for sure that this person is going to get great recovery. Right? So this seems to be a fundamental part of life, and learning to live comfortably in that is going to demand some acceptance of this principle. And the other thing it's going to demand is a lot of practice to be able to sit in the gray areas of life, to be able to sit with ambiguity and go through that experience and think about it and realize, well, maybe the world keeps spinning on its axis, and realize, well, you didn't get arrested or you didn't get diagnosed with cancer, and things seem to work out. But that takes a lot of practice, and again, very, very difficult for people in early recovery to really grasp hold of this, what appears to be a principle of life, is that very often in life there are no clear-cut answers. Very often every human being will be in this gray area, and to figure out how to live comfortably in that. Anyway, that's it for this video, and we'll be back next time with our last topic on our living life on life's terms.